So just a quick overview of metabolic acidosis and metabolic alkalosis. So acidosis is where there is a buildup of acid like lactic acid, which can be the main thing in shock for babies, for example, or hypotension due to any reason. Keto acids as in diabetes, sulfates and phosphates in renal failure, hyperchloremia and dysnatremia as well. So this can happen when you have excessive crystalloid resuscitation. So more than 2 to 3 boluses are to be avoided with high chloride containing solutions like normal saline. Metabolic alkalosis, where the acids are removed in excessive or you lose bicarbonate. So vomiting, nasogastric tube aspirates and diuretic use can be a factor. So acidosis is a physiologic state where a significant base deficit is present, and metabolic acidosis occurs when a disorder adds acid to the body or causes alkali to be lost faster. So the former will cause a high anion gap acidosis, while losing alkali will cause a normal anion gap acidosis, because when the bicarb is lost, the chloride goes up and balances the anion gap. Respiratory acidosis happens when the lungs do not promptly wash out the carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide combines with bicarbonate to form carbonic acid, thus increasing the hydrogen ion and acidosis. Alkalosis is a state where there is more than a normal base present, and metabolic alkalosis occurs whenever acid is excessively lost or alkali is excessively retained. The acid-base ratio of the body is altered. So this is most commonly seen in volume contraction as with excessive diuretic therapy. In respiratory alkalosis, this occurs when carbon dioxide is washed out in excess and the level of carbonic acid falls, producing excess bicarbonate. So this most often happens in hyperventilation, either anxiety related or because of overventilation. Metabolic alkalosis is usually associated with compensatory hypercarbia. So obviously this is the typical picture we get in chronic lung disease babies, sometimes on diuretic therapy. Otherwise, if they have high CO2 itself, the metabolic alkalosis comes up as a compensation. So compensation is a secondary physiologic process occurring in response to the primary disturbance in acid-base balance. So compensation is something which our body is doing. I mentioned the buffer mechanisms. I mentioned the role of the lung and the kidney when it comes to compensation. Correction is a change in the system originally affected by the primary disturbance from some intervention. So if you are looking at the acid-base system and you are intervening, you are correcting it. So it may be changes in the ventilation that you make. It may be providing additional support like ventilation or fluid correction. It may be inotropic support where the perfusion is limited, or it can be correction with bicarbonate. So we will be discussing briefly in the correction mechanism. Anion gap we mentioned briefly was the difference between the sodium potassium minus the chloride and bicarbonate. So the main cations minus the main anions, and increase in anion gap can be due to a fall in unmeasured cations or a rise in unmeasured anions, and the same reduction can happen due to rise in unmeasured cations like hyperkalemia, hypermagnesemia. And we have normal anion gap metabolic acidosis like diarrhea, renal tubular acidosis, adrenal insufficiency, chronic renal disease, intestinal or pancreatic or biliary fistula. Losses from these causes hypoaldosteronism, and we can have spironolactone, prostaglandin inhibitors, amiloride, trimethoprim, and so on. So again, high anion gap can be due to acid retention, and examples include lactic acidosis, ketoacidosis, advanced renal failure, drug and toxin induced. And normal anion gap can be seen in hyperchloremic acidosis, GA, loss of bicarbonate, impaired renal acid secretion, reabsorption of chloride, and so on. So this is a summary of metabolic acidosis where the pH is normally less than 7.3 and we have bicarbonate less than 15. We must have gone through this. So in terms of normal anion gap, we have abnormal losses of bicarbonate like diarrhea or renal tubular acidosis, and increased anion gap where you have accumulation of fixed acid. This is less common. So it can be ketoacidosis, it can be organic acidemias or accumulation of toxins, and lactic acidosis like blood lactate. So just a summary of what we discussed so far. So we have metabolic acidosis where if it is uncompensated, you get the reduced pH and the base excess is abnormal and reduced, that is negative. And if it's compensated, the base excess remains unchanged, so that will be your guide. So the pH direction may improve because of the compensation where the carbon dioxide is now reduced. And in terms of metabolic alkalosis, we have the pH increased, the base excess is also positive, and the CO2 is normal in the uncompensated stage, but in the compensatory stage, the CO2 increases. Respiratory acidosis, again, pH is reduced, but the carbon dioxide is increased, and the base excess is in the normal range. And in metabolic compensation, the base excess becomes positive because it's a compensation, and this is what happens in chronic lung disease, as we discussed. And the pH comes closer to normal. So when you look at a compensated state, the pH may be less abnormal, but the CO2 level and the base excess will guide you. And the respiratory alkalosis, it's usually acute. Chronic respiratory alkalosis is not that common. The pH is increased and base excess is normal, the CO2 is reduced. And the renal adjustments usually are not that pronounced.